1261.
In video games, it's important to aim in before taking a shot. This could also be used in changing of drug classifications. But what are the drug classifications? And what is marijuana's drug classification?
Classifications are based on, there's several things that federal law looks at. Is there a medically recognized application for the drug? Is it addictive? You know, these are two primary things that they look at.
A Schedule I drug is identified as a drug that has a high potential for abuse and is highly addictive.
In this particular case, marijuana is a Schedule I drug under the federal regulations.
It is deemed to have no possible medical benefit, is the way that they term it. What it really, I think some of the bigger factors of what it means is it makes it extremely difficult to try to use it for any kind of studies. Because it's a Schedule I, there's more challenges for groups to try to get funding for research.
A Schedule II substance, on the other hand, is a substance that is highly addictive and has a high potential for abuse, but is medically recognized.
Opioids are Schedule II, which means there's a medically recognized application for them, but they're also incredibly highly addictive. So that is why they've been bumped from a Schedule I down to a Schedule II narcotic.
Now let's aim in on what the federal government can do to change this classification. First, it would take some true, hard research.
We know some things that can help for because they've extracted those pieces of it and done studies. Everything else is kind of what we call anecdotal. We just have people who are telling us that it can help, but we just don't have really well done studies.
Public policy should never be determined by anecdotal stories. You do it by statistical stories. If you can take something that grows in the ground and take derivatives of it and take the chemical compounds of that thing that grows out of the ground and turn it into a pill or turn it into a vehicle where you can control dosage and duration and it alleviates pain or manages pain or a condition for someone, then who's against that? Then reschedule it, study it, come out with a report with the long-term impact.
You know it helps in things, conditions like glaucoma and some appetite. When you want to increase the appetite for a patient that has AIDS, when you have some nausea that comes along with different cancer treatments. I have patients who tell me how it can help for chronic pain or it can help for many other ailments. I've heard anxiety, I've heard other things like that. And the challenge with that is we just don't know. So you really need to see, is it truly the substance or is it something else that's causing that benefit?
But there's no medical research then that is proven to be effective. Federally, it hasn't been proven to be that way.
You've got to try to do the research and then create the law, because if not, you're going to find yourself really trying to figure out what you need to do when you're already down that pathway. It's hard to go back and change anything.
So again, let's go by facts and not just on what people think.
Sometimes legislators don't take the time to do the research and let things just go. This can lead to opposing effects like seen in Colorado.
States who have already legalized cannabis, they see that the sky hasn't fallen. While there might be some problems, those states are reacting to those problems, and that those policies, legalization policies, are more preferable to a supermajority of Americans than prohibitionists.
I've spoken to a former attorney general in Colorado who says that they have grave concerns from a law enforcement perspective.
I've seen where it has been legalized, and it's a nightmare in those states and that law enforcement has to deal with.
The profile of these medical marijuana patients, age demographics, was exactly the same as illegal drug users. It had nothing to do with a lot of health issues. And so here we are 10 years out, and the DEA estimates that there's still more illegal marijuana grown in the state than there is regulated.
In 2019, in Colorado, an illegal huge drug bust was commenced that led to 42 arrests, 255 executed search warrants, and over 80,000 marijuana plants being seized. Then in 2020, another illegal drug bust was commenced in Colorado that led to 16,436 marijuana plants being seized. Marijuana can have absolutely devastating effects on one's mind.
Have unfortunately died by suicide, where their suicide note literally wrote in there that it was because of the marijuana, which is just astounding. I can't imagine.
I've seen people die, and people don't realize that people can die from that. And I've seen them shot over drug deals. I still can see people shot over marijuana drug deals. I've seen the people get addicted to marijuana, but I've also seen people start with marijuana and then progress on up to other drugs.
Now, Congressman, these video games have taught us kids something crucial, is that you need to aim in and learn before going for the end. So let's research marijuana and figure out if it's something that is helpful or if it's something that should stay illegal.